and we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Do not throw up our hands when it is time to roll up our sleeves and fight for who we are.
And we will make America great again.
But we are not going back.
Welcome back to our series analyzing the 2024 U.S. presidential election. In the last video, we explored the foreign policies of the two leading candidates, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, from their approaches to international relations to strategies for protecting national interests. But an election isn't decided solely by actions on the global stage. It's also shaped by domestic policies, the decisions that directly impact the lives of millions of Americans. Today, we're continuing our journey by diving deeper into the domestic policies that Trump and Harris are proposing. From the economy, education, and healthcare, to issues like climate change and artificial intelligence, each policy carries a clear message about the future these candidates envision for the United States. And beyond that, it's these domestic policies that will ultimately determine who earns the trust and votes of the American people. So, what will Trump and Harris bring to America if elected? Let's explore these critical issues together in today's video. In terms of tax policy, Trump prioritizes tax cuts to promote business growth and stimulate the economy. During his first term, he implemented sweeping tax reforms, cutting corporate income tax from 35% to 21%, encouraging domestic investment. He also introduced tax cuts for high-income individuals, arguing that this would boost spending and investment, driving economic growth. On the other hand, Harris supports raising taxes on the wealthy and large corporations to redistribute benefits to the middle and lower classes. She may reverse some of Trump's tax cuts, particularly corporate income tax, to increase government revenue. Harris advocates for a more equitable tax system, where multinational corporations and the wealthy contribute more to society, aiming to reduce economic inequality and ensure sustainable growth. Trump frequently pressured the Federal Reserve, Fed, to keep interest rates low in order to stimulate economic growth. He believes that low interest rates help businesses borrow more easily, expand investments, and drive consumer spending. Trump has also criticized the Fed for raising interest rates, claiming it hampers growth. Harris is likely to interfere less directly with the Fed's monetary policy compared to Trump, allowing the institution to remain independent in managing interest rates. She leans toward increasing oversight of the banking system and financial markets, especially concerning risks from speculative investments and complex financial instruments, to prevent economic crises. During Trump's first term, tax cuts and increased spending on military and infrastructure led to a significant rise in U.S. national debt. He believes that rapid economic growth will help reduce debt in the long term. If re-elected, Trump is likely to continue this approach, though it may result in a growing budget deficit and higher national debt. Harris takes a more cautious stance on national debt. She supports raising taxes on the ultra-wealthy to offset government spending and limit budget deficits. Harris also advocates for investments in social programs like education, healthcare, and green infrastructure, aiming to create sustainable jobs and long-term growth. Trump takes a unilateral and protectionist approach to international trade. He initiated a trade war with China and imposed tariffs on imports from various countries, arguing that this would protect domestic businesses and jobs. Trump prefers bilateral trade agreements over multilateral ones and would continue negotiating deals favorable to the U.S. if re-elected. He also seeks to reduce America's dependence on global supply chains and promote an America First trade policy. Harris supports global trade but seeks fairer and more sustainable agreements. She may roll back some of Trump's protectionist policies and work to renegotiate trade deals that protect labor rights and the environment. Harris also favors strengthening multilateral cooperation with countries and international organizations like the WTO to build a more balanced trade system, rather than focusing solely on bilateral agreements. She would also promote fair trade policies to limit labor exploitation and environmental damage in global supply chains. During his first term, Trump emphasized the importance of rebuilding America's infrastructure, though many large projects did not reach completion as expected. He proposed a $1 trillion infrastructure investment plan to upgrade roads, bridges, airports, and water systems. However, legal obstacles and lack of support from Congress made these efforts difficult. If re-elected, Trump is likely to continue pushing for large-scale infrastructure projects, particularly those related to transportation and the construction of the border wall. He also favors privatization and public-private partnerships to raise funds for these projects, reducing the burden on the federal budget. Harris plans to make significant investments in green infrastructure and clean technology, prioritizing environmentally friendly projects to combat climate change and create sustainable jobs. She supports improving public transportation, upgrading the power grid and water systems, and developing smart cities. Harris aims to use public investment to improve the quality of life for citizens while ensuring the environment and climate are protected. She may promote a comprehensive infrastructure plan, focusing on rebuilding areas hit hardest by economic decline and creating green jobs throughout the construction process. Trump pursued an energy independence policy during his first term, focusing on expanding oil, gas, and coal production to ensure the U.S. does not rely on imported energy. He promoted domestic fossil fuel production to boost energy independence. In contrast, Harris takes a clear stance on transitioning to renewable energy and reducing dependence on fossil fuels. She supports policies aimed at cutting carbon emissions, particularly by investing in wind, solar, and energy storage technologies. Trump has a skeptical approach to climate change and rolled back many environmental regulations, such as cutting the Environmental Protection Agency's budget and pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement to promote fossil fuel production. Trump argues that environmental protection policies harm the economy and limit America's competitiveness on the global stage. His policies focus on maximizing traditional energy production while minimizing the impact of environmental regulations on businesses. In contrast, Harris is a strong supporter of climate change policies and environmental protection. She is committed to bringing the U.S. back into the Paris Agreement and pushing forward clean energy initiatives, laying the groundwork for a green economy. Harris also supports stricter oversight of oil and gas companies and advocates for shutting down polluting energy facilities. Her viewpoint is that sustainable economic growth must go hand in hand with protecting the environment and public health. Artificial intelligence is emerging as a key issue in the new era and has become a significant point of focus in the race to the White House between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Trump views AI as a tool to enhance America's economic and military power. He believes that developing AI will help the U.S. compete better with international rivals like China and Russia, especially in defense and cybersecurity. Trump may push for increased investments in AI to ensure that the U.S. remains a global leader in technology, while ensuring that AI is used for strategic goals. He also supports reducing regulatory barriers to encourage tech companies to rapidly develop AI, ensuring the U.S. can dominate this sector. Harris approaches AI from a social and ethical perspective, focusing on ensuring that AI does not exacerbate inequality and is used responsibly. She is concerned with creating clear regulations and standards to ensure AI is safe, beneficial for all, and that privacy rights are protected. On healthcare, Trump opposes universal healthcare policies and previously attempted to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, ACA, commonly known as Obamacare. He advocates for a healthcare system driven by market competition, where insurance companies compete to provide more affordable care. Trump also emphasizes that tax cuts and reduced regulations will help lower healthcare costs, and he focuses on reducing the price of prescription drugs. Harris supports expanding universal health care and is a strong defender of the ACA, viewing it as a stepping stone towards building a more equitable healthcare system. She has previously proposed Medicare for All, a government-funded healthcare plan, but later adjusted her stance to focus on improving existing healthcare programs rather than completely eliminating the private system. Harris is also particularly focused on women's health care, defending abortion rights and services dedicated to women's health. She emphasizes that healthcare is not just an individual right, but also a matter of social justice, particularly for vulnerable groups like people of color and immigrants. Trump takes a hardline stance on immigration, believing that illegal immigrants often burden the economy. His border wall with Mexico symbolizes his strong anti-illegal immigration position. Trump implemented strict deportation policies, limited asylum programs, and issued travel bans from several Muslim-majority countries. He is focused on protecting American jobs and reducing the social burden caused by immigration, arguing that illegal immigration drains resources from the economy. Tightening border security is, according to Trump, the only way to address these issues. In contrast, Harris supports the protection of young immigrants under programs like DACA and opposes Trump's family separation policies at the border. Harris calls for immigration reform, including a pathway to legal status for long-time undocumented residents. She stresses the need for a more humane immigration system that provides integration opportunities for immigrants contributing to the U.S. economy. Harris strongly criticizes Trump's anti-immigrant policies, labeling them as racist and inhumane. Trump advocates for educational freedom, supporting private schools and voucher programs that allow parents to choose between public and private schools for their children. He believes competition among schools will raise education quality and reduce government control over the education system. Additionally, Trump has criticized what he sees as left-leaning curricula in public schools and emphasizes the need to teach traditional American values. Harris focuses on educational equity, supporting increased investment in public education, especially in underprivileged areas. She has spoken out against the disparities in education access between wealthy and low-income communities, pledging to increase funding for schools in minority areas. Harris is committed to making education a true opportunity for everyone, regardless of their background or economic status. Trump takes a conservative stance on most social issues. He supports gun ownership rights, strongly opposes abortion, and has not expanded many rights for the LGBTQ+ community. His policies often center on protecting traditional values and individual freedoms. Harris adopts a progressive stance, strongly supporting LGBTQ+ rights, advocating for stricter gun control, and defending abortion rights. She focuses on protecting human rights and social justice, while criticizing Trump's conservative social policies for limiting personal freedoms for vulnerable groups in society. Domestic policy is always at the heart of every U.S. presidential election, and 2024 is no exception. What we've just discussed is only a small part of the bigger picture concerning the future of America under the leadership of either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Each policy has the potential to bring profound changes, impacting millions of lives and shaping the course of the nation. Voters will have to carefully consider these policies when casting their ballots. Will they choose to continue the path Trump has set, or give Harris a chance with her fresh vision for America? The election is heating up, and we'll be closely following it as it unfolds. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming political analysis videos. There's a lot more to explore in the days ahead. See you in the next video.